Gordon is a small Christian college located on the North Shore in Wenham, Massachusetts. One of Gordon's biggest attraction is the Bennett Center Gymnasium. With 3 basketball courts and a rock gym inside, there is always something to do. But what if I told you that isn't always where the gym was located? Around 1970, Gordon decided that they needed to build their own athletic center. The basketball teams were renting a public facility a few miles away, but it was inconvenient to travel every day. The board started sending letters to alumni hoping that they would donate to this new gymnasium. With lots of prayers and many donations, there was finally enough money to start the project. Construction was started on July 28, 1970, with good hopes for the future. On February 27, 1971, Rhodes Gymnasium was finally finished.
But in that space we did some indoor sports, basketball, volleyball, and then it also served as a common meeting area because we did not also have the chapel at that point, a large space. So things like some chapels, but convocations, which were Fridays, and they're academic versions of a chapel where you got a lecture around some context for academic exploration. In that space was pretty formal most of the time, and my baccalaureate commencement piece was also in that grim gymnasium, which we do better now with some cushy seats in AJ.
This building was dedicated to Edgar L. Rhodes, who was the chairman of the board at Gordon from 1924 to 1930. He supported the mission of the school, and they wanted to honor his active support by naming the gymnasium after him. The gym would not only serve as an athletic center, but a place for community gathering and chapel.
It was a rather cold place to have chapel and to have convocation, but it held the student body well. Singing felt a little strained, but nevertheless we had community together. And for Gordon to have been able to be used by the Boston Celtics for their practices for a couple of years was an honor for Gordon. Then they went on down to Waltham and practiced at Brandeis.
The Rhodes Gymnasium held many interesting stories that we don't get to hear all the time. We often forget that the college students then were a lot like us. They caused just as much trouble, if not more, than students do now.
Convocation was almost over and they're finishing up, and part of the process of being at a college is sometimes there are some college traditions. And we had one that someone had stolen a used athletic shoe from the former president, so Richard Gross, and they bronzed it and stuck it on a pole. And this pole was called the Nodrog, and it was sort of one of those things where some class had to own that for a certain period of time, and once a year you had to take it out and show it that whoever had it so it could be stolen and claimed by another class. So kind of an activity, maybe an informal activity that's probably sketchy, but that's how it goes at college. So, but it had to be shown, and so the best place to show the Nodrog was probably in a public gathering. And chapel is probably not the most appropriate thing during a worship service to run through with a bronzed sneaker on a pole. So they chose this particular year to run it through during convocation. So on one side of the building there's the doors to get into the gym, and the back side of the building is the door to get out of the gym. And the convocation is almost over, and in opens a door, flies in this guy wearing nothing but swim trunks and a pillowcase on his head with a Nodrog. And he runs across the front of the stage and yells Nodrog, runs out the back door with a few people that we didn't have GoPro at the time, but someone that was really concerned, a couple faculty members, tried to chase him down. They weren't anywhere near as good a shape as he was, so he got away. I think he was one of the cross-country runners, but I won't say his name, just to protect the innocent.
Well, as we have heard, this building held many memories and stories. But after a while, Gordon had to look into bigger things. In the 1900s, the Bennett Center was built, allowing Gordon to expand their athletic programs. Although Rhodes was not the gym anymore, it was not forgotten. It was turned into the Barrington Center for the Arts, where our theater productions are now put on. The building may not be used the same, but it will hold the memories forever. From Com 101 News, I'm Violet Manson.